This weather. Oh my goodness. It finally feels like fall, which reminds me of maybe the best fall in these parts ever. 2 years ago. Wow. What a time that was. What a difference 2 years makes. So, how do we get back there? We talk about one of the options next on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Yeah, it's almost unfair in an organization like the Rangers that you have a guy like Pudge Rodriguez to have set the bar as what a really good catcher looks like. In fact, though, Pudge, as we all know, is better than just really good. He is among the greatest and arguably the greatest of all time, a Hall of Famer and a great guy. But anyway, that's an awfully high bar as Rangers catchers since have all tried to meet it. Hi there. Welcome into the DLLS Sports Studios. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. John Radigan, Jeff Wilson, and somebody in the chat last week, and I hope you're here again today. I can't remember who asked it. In the chat last week, somebody said, where's the profit? And I didn't get to answer you. What I would have said that day is the prophet has left our employ, although he still freelances. He works for us part-time. But now, Jeff, instead of doing the devil's work with us, the prophet is doing the Lord's work with TD Jakes and that group. So it seems very appropriate, doesn't it? You gave him the nickname prophet. It seems appropriate that a prophet is working for a church like that.
Yeah, it does. It makes a lot of sense, and we're glad that he's here today.
Yeah, we got him. We got him today.
We want him as often as possible.
We do indeed. Love having a prophet as a part of the team. Love having you here today as well. Join along in the chat. We already see Tony talking about a possibility at catcher. We're going to get to all of the possibilities at catcher, and I don't think all about Sports Zone that Pudge, would he take the catcher's role? He would if he could right now, I promise you. I don't think he'll be interested in working as a coach, and there is an opening for the catching coach as well. But look, Jeff did a deep dive into some of the options that are available. And Jeff, I did like we're kind of reading the tea leaves to think that Jonah Heim won't be here. But we don't know for a fact what the Rangers front office is going to do with Jonah.
Right. It's about value, and Jonah is in his final year of arbitration. What are you going to get for your $6 million?
Right.
Or $5.5 million, whatever you're going to pay him. And would he, would you get enough value for that? The Rangers are going to pay Higashioka about $6.5 million this year, I think. Paid him $5.5 million last year. He got pretty good value out of that. And Jonah's just declined the last two since his great 23. He just hasn't been the same player. And you could argue, if you look at 22 and 21, which is probably a little unfair when he was a rookie, he's never matched 2023. That's the outlier here. So, are they going to move on? It seems like they're gonna. Just again, reading the tea leaves, listening to what has been said, who's been saying it. You're like, yeah, there might be an opportunity to upgrade here. So, I went ahead and tried to find some trade possibilities. Free agency, it's pretty thin. You have JT Realmuto, who's really good, a little older, and probably out of the Rangers' price range. But then after that, it's pretty thin. You're talking about 1-year veteran guys who, probably would not be able to handle the workload the Rangers are looking for their second catcher or their first catcher or the other catcher to provide.
Sure.
So I tried to find 5 teams that either have a catching surplus, or might be motivated otherwise to move a catcher. And so anyway, of course, everybody's high on the whole Adley Rutschman thing.
Sure.
And with Sam Basallo getting the extension that Adley Rutschman does not have, and Basallo got it basically 2 days after his MLB debut. So you're makes you think,
Yeah.
But the Orioles have been asked about it. Were asked about it in their season-ending press conference, and said, "Oh no, Ashley's our guy." So maybe they're just trying to raise their prices or whatever on Rutschman. It wouldn't be cheap. It would require a lot of prospects or another major league ready player,
right?
And the Rangers
Was he a 1-1?
He was
ahead of Bobby Witt Jr.
in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a heck of a it's going to be a heck of an asking price.
Yeah.
And you kind of go and look at his career, and he was great in 23.
Yeah.
Right. Well, is that the outlier? Because
Right.
This year he declined. They think it was because of injuries, but he didn't hit well in the second half last year either. So it's like, all right, now is he more talented than Jonah Heim? Probably does everything just a little bit better, but you want to make sure you're getting value for what you're going to be giving up. I also looked at the Pirates, and the Pirates are an interesting one because they also have a former 1-1, Henry Davis, who went ahead of Jack Leiter in 2021, and despite his fabulous first name, he's not performed up to that level. And there's some concerns, a lack of patience.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to Jack. Honestly, it's like, people were like, when's this guy going to show up? And then he shows up and he wasn't very good. And they're like, oh, we got to get rid of him. He's a bust. So, but the Pirates also have Joey Bart.
Yeah, this one intrigues me a lot.
Who's going to be arbitration eligible. He's a former 1-2
right
by the Giants.
Yeah.
And the Rangers were interested in him at the trade deadline. And he's coming off a down offensive year from the previous year, and he's arbitration eligible. He's projected to only make around 2.5. So that one seems to make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I like the price tag there.
Yeah, and then also the Cardinals, and the Cardinals, they have 3 catchers, including Yohei Pozo, who used to be a Rangers farmhand, made his MLB debut with the Rangers. So the reason I included them beyond their catching depth is that they have Sonny Gray, and they don't want to pay Sonny Gray $35 million next year. And I don't think the Rangers would want to pay him $35 million. But Cardinals could probably use a second baseman.
Yes, they could. I love your thinking here.
And so why not try to trade contract for contract, maybe get a catcher, swap catchers, maybe, say, hey, Jonah's not bad,
right.
And if we're taking one of your guys and you're going to need somebody to fill in, maybe a change of scenery will do them some good, this, that, and the other. Anyway, you're getting your starting pitcher, Sonny Gray. Now, you have to answer second base, but you can worry about
There's
that
guys
one later.
there. Yeah. I see somebody in the chat already suggesting Cody Freeman as the catcher. They don't want to do that. They acknowledge the mistake that was, not only trying to force a square peg into a round hole as Zeta Kiner Falefa, but they did that at the big league level. They tried Cody at the minor league level and realized, no, he's better at one of his natural positions. And so I don't see that one happening, even though he could continue to serve as the emergency guy as long as he's with the club.
Yeah, if Cody Freeman was going to catch, he'd still be catching.
Yep.
And they've moved on from that. And rarities, what does 1-1 mean? The first pick overall in a draft.
Yeah. First pick, first round.
Yeah.
And All About Sports Zone was the one who asked about you, Prophet. So people are still out there very concerned and thinking about you. And like we said, we're super glad to have him back. Yeah. So to me, out of everything you said, the most doable was Joey Bart, right?
Yeah.
This is a guy who's got upside. He was unlike Jonah, and this is nothing against Jonah, because he obviously developed quite well, not being a 1-2, but Joey's got this draft pedigree and this, I think, high ceiling, and right now a low price tag.
Yeah.
and likely lower than even what Jonah would be right now. So, if they can get interested in something like that, and then again, we don't even know who the catching coach will be, but then coach him up, get him going in the right direction. I mean, all of these guys have great potential that are young, like that, even young like that. And sometimes, like you said, Jeff, just a change of scenery and a different voice delivering the same message. Oftentimes, that's all a player needs. And so you say, well, why don't you just give Jonah? He's going to have a different voice. True. But I think they've seen a long history now since 2023 of Jonah. They've tried multiple different ways to try and, get more out of Jonah, get 2023 out of Jonah. And at some point, you might just have to realize and admit, okay, that was it. That's not there.
Right.
Every other year that he's been in the big leagues has to be considered more of who he is and what he can do.
Yeah. And before we get to Natalie's question, because the Dodgers are in my story, Jonah at the end of last season, at the end of 2024, was talking about how he'd had a little bit of a mental problem because, here he was in 23, he an all-star and having this great season and helped the team win the World Series, and then he went in a slump and he could never get out of it. I think he might still be in it. And you talk about the body language, which we've all seen.
Yeah.
And there are just times he gets up there and it's like he doesn't have a chance. He can throw 3 pitches anywhere and he's going to swing at them. So I do still wonder if that's something he has to overcome, and if maybe then it is a thing where a different voice helps him.
Sure, it could be.
Yeah. Okay, so Natalie is one of the Dodgers extra catchers, a possibility. I floated this one.
Yeah.
I don't know how likely it is, but Will Smith is their catcher, and he's locked up for 8 more years after this. And he's a really good catcher.
He is.
He's like Hall of Fame trajectory catcher. And they have a nice young prospect by the name of Dalton Rushing, who made his MLB debut this year. He exceeded, I believe, the rookie at bat limits because he's no longer in their prospect rankings. But, maybe there's something there, a deal that could be made. Well, the Dodgers, who are not shy about spending money, they could take on a Semien contract. Tommy Edman's been playing second base for them, and Tommy hasn't been a full-time player, but for maybe 1 year in his career, 1 or 2 with St. Louis, part-time guy. He doesn't do a lot for you. He's not an exciting offensive player. He'll run into one every once in a while. So maybe my start is Semien for Rushing.
Right.
And I figure if the Rangers could get Dalton Rushing back, they might even eat some of the contract.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
So anyway, and then the other one I had was the Braves, and not Drake Baldwin, who could be the rookie of the year. He took advantage of the injuries to Sean Murphy. Now, Sean Murphy is a former Gold Glove winner, left-handed power. What did he have this year? A cracked rib in spring training, and then he had to have surgery for a hip labrum, which they think was the result of him compensating, or they think the oblique injury he might have had last year was as a result of compensating for the hip thing. Anyway, he makes $15 million, so the Braves would have to eat some contract there.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I wrote.
Oh, it was great.
It was kind of fun.
And there's more to talk about with regard to that. We also want to get into the upcoming week and what we kind of expect to see from the Rangers and from Skip Schumacher. And then, of course, later we'll get into the playoffs and then our cleanup segment. It's all coming up as, at least for today, we're reunited with the Prophet here on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
And we want to give a shout out to one of our new sponsors, Rev Entertainment. We know Rev, Rangers Entertainment, people that run the TV and all the concerts and such and events at Globe Life Field. Well, guess what? Coming up here in just a matter of weeks is the Rangers 5K. It's 5K season in DFW. It's cooling off. And the Texas Rangers 5K, presented by Medical City Healthcare, is set for November 9th at Globe Life Field. I would go, but I'm going to be out of town.
Okay.
I would go and beat all of you, but I'm going to be out of town. Anyway, this is a race that you won't find anywhere else. It's a course that offers scenic views of the entertainment district and ends with a finish directly on the field at Globe Life Field. And then after that, there's like a big party and yard games, a DJ, Rangers captain, the mascot, and all that stuff. So whether you're a veteran at these things, a regular at your local club, or a newbie, the perfect event for runners of all levels. Anyway, registration closes November 2nd. So run over to globelifefield.com/Rangers5K to secure your spot today. globelifefield.com/Rangers5K.
Yes, it's game time too. You don't have to run anywhere. Just pick up your phone or your tablet or any device and consult the app and find tickets. Get them now while they're going good to your favorite NBA team. Hopefully that's the Mavs, who are really right here in our, like, just down the street from us. They're going to be great this year. They're going to be super fun to watch this year. And you can get tickets right now basically for any game you want to on that Game Time app. It's so great. There is a 100% guarantee on those tickets, so that they're authentic. You get them at the very best price. Fees are always included, but, not nearly as high as with the other ticket services. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets. Download the Game Time app and create a code with the DLLS for $20 off your first purchase.
Yeah, hey, we got a super chat.
Yeah, how about a little super chat
Thank
from
you,
Ozzy?
Trade for Langoliers just so he won't terrorize us.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a point.
Yeah.
Langoliers is going to be an interesting one because for the A's, because he'll be his first year ARB eligible, so he's young, can't be a free agent until 29 when they'll be in Las Vegas.
Right.
And of their young guys, he hasn't been extended yet.
Right.
And it feels like you'd want to extend this guy. So maybe he's kind of the litmus test for the ownership group about Las Vegas. When they go to Las Vegas finally, they're going to have all these great young position players, with this guy probably the first one approaching free agency. So you got to lock him up if you're the A's and you have all this money and you're going to Vegas. I mean, this is a guy you want. I mean, I don't know what the park factors are going to be, but I know that their minor league park, Cashman Field, that used to be there, now the new one, whatever it's called, down in the suburbs, pretty sure they're offense parks because the air is thin.
Yep.
And the ground is hard.
Yep.
And all these things. I think I want Shea Langoliers to hit in that ballpark. So it might take a lot to shake him loose, but the A's need to re-sign him. They extend him, rather.
Yeah, they really do. And because I think what we're, when we go through this list and when you went through your exercise of trying to find guys or teams with, a sort of excess at the catching position, there aren't any. Catchers are hard. It's got to be one of the hardest positions to develop, as the Rangers have learned. Now, they've gotten, somebody asked us there about Malcolm Moore, Kellyman did, and we'll get to our thoughts on Malcolm Moore. But, I'm always of the mindset, almost like you should draft a quarterback every year in the NFL draft. Like you should damn near draft a catcher every year in the Major League draft.
Sure.
And just keep working them, because first of all, you always need 15 of them at spring training. And second of all, they're just really hard to develop. I mean, when's the other one, right? I mean, Jim Sundberg and Pudge, right?
Yeah.
Who else have the Rangers developed? Jose Trevino, I guess.
Yeah.
He became an all-star. He became a Gold Glove.
Not for the Rangers.
No, but his development happened with the
right.
Rangers. You're right. The rest of that happened elsewhere. But anyway, I'm for drafting people. Malcolm Moore is a couple years away, we think, Jeff?
Yeah, he was hurt this year.
Yeah.
Early season, broken finger. I can't remember which one, but in any event, he's in the fall league, making up for lost time, trying to get some more reps. He's played in 6 games. He's batting .217. I don't want to read too much into that.
No.
But anyway, he's still, the catcher of the future, if you will, but he needs a lot of time,
Yeah.
you can always say, well, he probably needs 2 more years. If the catcher, you probably want to add a year,
Okay.
just because it just takes a little time. And it's not just the bat and the catching, it's getting pitchers through innings and learning
Game
how to
planning.
call games and things like that. So there's a lot there. Now, he did go to college, Stanford, so he was maybe a little more advanced. But got to wait and see on that one. I think this is a big year for him coming up.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that, it's more evidence. The Rangers drafted him in the 24 draft.
Right.
And
30th overall.
Yeah. It's not like he was high. Yeah, but he was still a first rounder.
Sure.
But yeah. They drafted him at the very end of that 24 draft. And you're going to be looking at 4 years, maybe 5, to get him fully developed. And this is a kid that went to college at Stanford, no less. So, it's not necessarily the mental part that is difficult for him, but it's just, man, it is a process to get ready to be a major league catcher. And there you go.
Yeah.
And maybe in some ways drafting them as college players, like you hope that it expedites the process for some players.
Right.
But for a catcher, it doesn't seem to.
Well, and again, there is the injury thing. And then when you go back and listen to the pre-draft reports on him, it was, he's all bad. He's not a very good catcher. Is he going to be able to catch? And it kept getting asked of Kip Fagg during the post-draft conference call, maybe even the next day, and he's like, "Look, if we didn't think he could catch, we wouldn't have drafted him."
Right?
It's like, give us a little credit here. So I think they do believe in him. They're going to give him chances. He was in big league camp this year. I'm sure he'll be in big league camp next year. Be around the big league guys, learn from them, like the pitchers as well as the coaches and other catchers. So they want to accelerate the learning curve, but it's hard. Like you said, it's just hard to do with catchers unless they're Pudge Rodriguez.
Right. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Just so it came so naturally, that position to Pudge. And so, it's a very, and by the way, he played it, throughout his career. We all know he could have pitched. I mean, he threw it 95 to 100, but, and even to second base, but yeah, he was a catcher through and through, no doubt about it. So that's that. I see Rarity's asking about the Arlington Renegades. I heard this too. They're moving to Frisco and out of Globe Life Field or Globe Life Park. It breaks my heart a little bit that it had been reconfigured for football. Yeah. Because when I walk in there, it hurts my eyes. It really does.
I haven't walked back in since it closed.
Yeah, I've walked in a couple of times, and it hurts my eyes to see those bleachers out there. But that said, to answer the question, Rarities, I think the park, I think that the structure, the facility is going to stay there.
Yeah.
It's already into these other multi-purpose uses. They've got those daily or weekly or monthly rentals available in offices in the office building area. There's one of the great Mexican restaurants from Houston, Mi Tiempo. Is it Mi Tiempo? I think it's Mi Tiempo. La Tiempo,
whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, I've eaten down there a few times when I've been in Houston. It's really good. And it's Neil Liebman, one of the owners. It's his favorite restaurant in Houston. So he got it up here. And I think they're doing well. It's a really good Mexican restaurant. They got a Starbucks in there. All that stuff that's across the street now with the huge apartment building and the 2 hotels. They need those types of things in there. So I think it'll be there. I just don't know that it'll be a venue.
They still play high school games.
They do, and that soccer, there's some soccer there, I think.
The soccer moved.
Maybe they move
didn't.
too?
I don't know. But anyway, the point is, I think it stays.
I do too. Yep, I do too. So that's that. This is a busy week, obviously, in baseball because the World Series starts later this week. We've got that Game 7 tonight, which we'll talk a lot about in the next segment. But we expect it to be a busy week. We know. We don't expect. We know every week right now is busy for Skip Schumacher as he continues to really get to know his guys, his team, figure out his assistant coaching staff, all those things are huge priorities for him right now. And it's interesting, Jeff. Our buddy Lance Lynn is now on the MLB radio network.
Oh, man.
Helping with a talk show. I think it might be the talk show called Power Alley. So he was on there today, and we're going to talk about the Tennessee coach, Vitello, in a moment in the cleanup segment. But he was on there talking about Vitello, and they asked him, Lance, do you think he has a chance to he will be accepted in a major league clubhouse, in part because Buster Posey, recommends him? And Lance said, yes. He said, not only that, he said, Posey will go to the guys who he knows need to deliver the message to the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
And that's what we've talked about with all clubhouses. And Lance has been with several teams, including the Rangers, where he was one of those guys. And I was just doing the math on it going, yes, and that's exactly what Chris Young will do. Chris Young doesn't quite have Buster Posey's pedigree or resume, but he's got cachet in that clubhouse, and he knows who the guys are to go to and say, here's why, and this is, we did Skip Schumacher, and we did this offseason change for this reason, and sell those guys on it. Lance's point on someone like Vitello was any manager can lose a team. Lance said this on the air today. Any manager can lose a team the first week of spring training.
Well, and Skip said, and this isn't, now that he's been hired, it's it's a little different situation, but he said he wants to hire guys for the coaching staff who he knows will deliver his message.
Yep.
And so I think that's part of what they're working through here. But it's that important, and he wants to create the like you said, the winning culture, which again makes you question: did they have a winning culture? And they have a winning culture with some of the same guys in the clubhouse, and will there be changes? Not just to the coaching staff, but to the actual roster. So that's it's interesting, if you want your club to be a certain way, you're the top dog like Buster Posey or Chris Young. You got to have a good relationship with your manager, and the manager has to be able to have a relationships with his coaching staff to be like, hey, you to straighten this out, or, and then the players too. A lot of times the words carry more weight if they're coming from a teammate, one of your peers. And, again, do the Rangers have that guy?
That's the question.
And that's another question.
It's because it's veterans, right?
Right.
It's not, and again, it doesn't take that long to be a veteran. We feel like Josh Young is basically a veteran in the scheme of things, right? You don't have to be there, for as long as Marcus Simeon's been around baseball to be a veteran, but these can't come from the Cody Freemans of the world. They've got to come from a guy with a little more experience, a veteran in the clubhouse.
Yeah, and we're gonna find out what this is all gonna look like. We're still a little surprised that there hasn't been more movement, more word on the coaching staff. I'm sure there's been movement, but as far as like actual word, well, we haven't heard it. And of course, the Rangers keep things super tight-lipped, which is that's fine. But again, these guys who aren't going to be back, they need to know.
Yeah.
And Bobby Wilson's been told, and that was early. All right, well, what about these other guys?
Right.
They need to know. And again, along with the Vitello and Albert Pujols, so we'll talk about a little later. There's still 7 openings.
Yeah.
Or 8 openings.
Yeah, I know.
That's the Padres thing. I forgot. So get it. Let's go, guys. Let's go.
Shocking. Shocking.
There's only 3 playoff teams left. So if they're looking to talk to members of coaching staffs, all right, it's okay. If you're waiting on Mariners coaches, I would doubt that any of these guys are going to turn over at this point. These are the final 3 teams.
Right.
They are going to like their coaching staff.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty happy with it.
So they're not looking to get rid of anybody. Yeah. Now, if you need permission to talk to some of them, that may be one thing. But But again, you're not trying to hire a manager.
No.
At best, these would be parallel moves,
Right.
and so they may not get permission to talk to
And
these
so,
guys,
yeah,
unless you're talking to like an assistant hitting coach to become your hitting
any
coach.
one of the 7 or 8 teams that are still have openings could be waiting for people who would who they would interview for manager, who are hitting coaches or pitching coaches or whatever. But to your point, the 3 managers that are left ain't going anywhere. They're going to leave their current team to go to another team. Not now, not after they've just made it to the final 3, as it were. All right, so let's talk weekend playoffs. Let's talk Game 7 tonight. It's really fun. It's like I saw somebody on Twitter say, Game 7, say no more. That's tonight. We'll talk about it next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast.
Well, John, I've lost track of everything yet again. I mean, I'm not even on the right date. That's the problem.
All right, you got it. You're supporting. You're a
I
supporters
love the
club.
supporters club and all of you guys out there. I haven't seen T.O. in the chat. Maybe he's busy today.
Yeah.
But all of you guys who have the little logos next to you, we appreciate you doing the supporters club. 2 levels at like $5.99 and $14.99 or something like that. You get the emojis at both levels. The video content, the behind the scenes stuff that we provide is to the top level, and it's good stuff. I mean, John, I'm a little biased here, but John and I, we can talk baseball and give you guys some insight that you're not going to get anywhere else, to be perfectly honest with you. And to join the supporters club, if you're on our page, there's a subscribe button, which you've all done, and then there's a little join button right next to it. Push that, and it'll take you where you need to go.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's relatively inexpensive, and yet it's way more expensive than the newsletter, which is free. FREE, free, to get our newsletter delivered to your inbox every day. AllDLLS.com. Scroll all the way down. You're already familiar with the website because you go there to read all of the content that we have. But if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of that page, you'll find a place where you can subscribe to our newsletter. Ali does a great job keeping everybody informed as to basically on every team, almost every day. He writes so much. He writes Cowboys content too, but writes our newsletter, and it'll keep you going for sure. So become a subscriber to the newsletter for free. All you do is type in your email address, and each morning you will feel smarter about sports by what you see on our. All right, so we'll get to Game 7 in a minute, and yes, I agree with you, Jake. The 2 best words in sports, Game 7, just awesome, and that's really in any sport. I really believe it. I mean, especially if it's your team, there's nothing like it. But even when it's not your team, the drama is silly and wonderful. More on that coming up. But first, we have just got to talk about Shohei Ohtani. Jeff, I don't know if you've heard, but he had a really good game in the clincher where he struck out 10 and hit 3 bombs. And I think it struck out 10, allowed 2 hits, and hit 3 bombs all in the same game.
Yeah, it was a really, people are saying, is this the best sports performance ever? Is it the best baseball performance ever? Single game. And, we saw the Hamilton 4-homer game, right? That's pretty awesome. But Josh did not strike out 10 batters. Perfect games are fantastic. But, they're not hitting.
Right.
So it's just hard to comprehend that this guy is doing these 2 things. My question is, were there how many players in the past could have done both? And we go, oh, all right, Babe Ruth way back when. Okay, but how many guys throughout the years? Robert Redford from the Natural, Roy Hobbs.
Yeah.
But it's like these guys are unicorns, and Ohtani, just what he did, and big stage clinching game. It was like a little league, a performance you'd see in Little League.
It really was, and it was like, and you talked recently about one of the teams that Henry was on that had, this one kid who was just bigger, stronger, clearly better than everybody, right? And I think we've all seen that in various little leagues. Some kids just grow faster, right? And that's what this looks like when he gets on a heater like that, because that kid that, Jeff and I were talking about, that kid, coach is going to use him to hit, of course. Then he's going to be like, shoot, and all of a sudden it's a close game. Buddy, we need you to pitch, right? And you send him out to pitch, and he's crazy good. And that's what, I swear that's what Ohtani looked like among the best of the best in the world. It was just unbelievable. The list of players to have hit 3 home runs in a playoff game is fairly long, but I really liked the list, and I heard them talking about it, Jeff, and I'm like, oh, we were at one of those games.
I can think of 2 of them. Beltre was
okay. I got the Adrian. It was Nelly?
Pujols had a 3-homer game in the 11 World
That's
Series
right.
in Game 3.
Right, I was at that one too. Yeah,
the blowout. And,
that one wasn't as fun.
No,
Nelly never hit 3, did he?
No,
he hit a home run and a grand slam.
Yeah, he had a walk-off grand slam.
Hit the first ever walk-off grand slam in the postseason. But
does Altuve have one? I don't think it wasn't against the Rangers, but
I don't think I don't know if he's got a 3. Today, I think, might be the anniversary of the day that he.
It was the anniversary of Game 5, the 2023 World Series.
Okay, so that's what.
Or
it was.
ALCS.
ALCS.
He hit the 3-run homer.
Okay.
The walk-off. Well, it wasn't a walk-off. It was because it was the top of the 9th, but it crushed the Rangers' spirits.
Yeah. And,
and really, we were like, well, we got to go back to Houston. And just, watch the funeral.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's for sure what we thought. Really.
There's no question.
At that point, they hadn't lost on the road in the postseason. We're like, come on, there's no way. They can't keep this up. And they went back and won Game 6 and 7.
6 and 7.
6 and 7.
Yep.
7 was like 11-4.
11-4.
Yeah.
Very good. I don't remember the scores, but
yeah, I remember
9-2,
that
maybe
one.
9-3 on the 8-3 on the Game 4, 5, 6, Game 6. Sorry,
El Tiempo. There it is. By the way, thank you, Ozzy. Okay, and so Prophet, do we have that graphic of Babe Ruth? So let's take a look at this. So Babe Ruth started World Series games as a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, of course. And there you see his record: 31 innings pitched, a .87, and a 3-0 record. Obviously, at this point, Shohei Ohtani has not started any games in the World Series as a pitcher. But look, we always talk. I'll be anxious to see. He won't get 3 starts this year. It's going to take years for him, as it probably did for Babe, to get 3 starts in the World Series and 31 innings. But that'll be sort of apples to apples. But I just don't think there's any doubt, because then pretty much after Babe left Boston, he wasn't pitching anymore. Right. And so when you make the argument like the LeBron to Jordan argument, like I always side with Jordan.
Of course. Stop
but,
it. Anybody who says it's LeBron is
right. But the Babe to Ohtani, and for early, I was probably going, well, I don't know, it's hard to beat Babe Ruth. I think Ohtani clearly has pretty much already done it.
In that regard.
Regard.
Babe Ruth changed baseball
100%.
history. He changed the way the game was played.
Yeah.
With the home run, nobody was hitting home runs. He was out homering teams.
Yes.
Yes. Individually. But yeah, as a two-way player, with what Ohtani is able to do, and has done, while also hitting, now the rules have changed, no DH back then, so Ruth had to hit as a pitcher.
Yep.
If that had happened, and if he had left the game, he wouldn't have had the at-bats, because they didn't have a Shohei Ohtani rule for him back then. But the point is, it's pretty impressive what Ohtani is doing. And yeah, I agree. As a two-way player,
yes,
he has exceeded the Babe.
Yeah, and exceeded pretty much what any of us, including all the major league guys I was working with at the time. Mike Bassick, Mark McLemore, Steve Buechel, none of them really thought he could continue to do both. And here he is, granted, Game 4, but it was a clinching game. So anytime you have a clinching game, it's a really important game. And he was 2 for 26 or something in the playoffs prior. and boom, he just comes through with that kind of a game. So,
All right. Well, we're on the Babe Ruth pitching. Career 94 and 46, 2.28 ERA. In 1916, he made 40 starts, 9 shutouts, 1.75 ERA. He did not allow a home run in 323 innings.
Wow.
That's nuts.
But to your point, he was the only guy that hit him.
He only struck out 170 and he walked 118.
Okay.
So maybe he's pitching around some guys. And who knows how hard he's throwing. Any of these guys were throwing on 3 days rest, how hard they're throwing at the end of the game.
Right.
But there's something was still effective about it.
Sure. Yeah.
So, anyway, all right.
Whether he was throwing that speedball.
That's right.
Who knows? But Roki Sasaki's been finishing these games. He's finished the clinching game. I don't know that he's going to be a relief pitcher in the future for the Dodgers, Jeff, but I do know that that's pretty amazing that he came. I mean, I think they had to strip this kid down, basically like they say when you're redoing a house. They had to strip the kid down to the studs, and rebuild him in a short period of time in the Dodgers minor league system.
Yeah, I mean, he was hurt, so they were able to take advantage of that time to rework some things. And these guys come from Japan, and they pretty much get hurt right off the bat. Really, the only one who hasn't is Darvish. At least a significant injury. And Ohtani,
has Darvish ever had Tommy John?
Yeah,
he has.
And Darvish Ohtani's on his second, or he's had two.
Yeah.
But it's Sasaki. As good as he was in Japan, he still had to make some adjustments. And what he was doing wasn't working. And obviously, when he comes in now, it's just like one inning, let it eat. 102, pretty nasty split that he can command at the top of the strike zone, which is a hell of a pitch. You give up on it if you're a hitter. And anyway, his future though has got to be as a starter.
Especially with the kind of money they're not paying him much now.
No,
but they're going to pay him a lot, and you don't pay.
You would think, you
don't pay that much for a guy to be a relief pitcher. But good for him and good on them for recognizing what he can do and how much he can help them. Dave Roberts said after that game in the clubhouse, I think, or maybe in the media room, they've said that what the Dodgers are doing is ruining baseball. And he said, let's go really ruin baseball and win 4 more. And I did see a lot of comments about that comment on the weekend, and they're all, I think, so well taken. Like, the Braves didn't have to let Freddie Freeman go.
Right.
The Mookie Betts didn't have to. I think that they trade him.
They traded.
Yeah, Red Sox didn't have to trade Mookie Betts. All these players that they have that they've, grabbed, they were the ones who were willing to pay them, right? And so really what ruins baseball is the owners who won't do that. And of course, what's the cat for the White Sox? His name kept coming up. The owner for the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, old guy.
Yeah, whatever his name. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, somebody in the chat will know. And so, yes, in a way that is true. But since the Dodgers are the only one doing it this way, it's easy to also say, dang, they're ruining the game. Nobody else gets a chance to play.
I mean, I don't think, I don't know what to think about it. I mean, honestly, I do have concerns about the new CBA after next season and what's going to happen. And Evan Jelich, reporter who known for a while, used to cover the Astros, wrote a book about the Astros and the 2017 stuff. And he tweeted the other night, boy, it's a shame that, we, instead of celebrating, this great performance by Ohtani, it's being overshadowed, or something like in a year with maybe a lockout that we've been talking about, and maybe overshadowed by finances. And that's right. And, we were talking a couple weeks ago or last week about ways to maybe avoid it. And I don't know that there is any avoiding it, closing the loophole, the deferment loophole. And yes, any team could be doing what the Dodgers are.
Yep. All I have to be be willing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and look,
Jerry Reinsdorf, by the way.
Jerry Reinsdorf, yeah. And the Mets are doing it.
Yep.
But their owners were $36 billion.
Yep.
You know,
it's got to be willing.
There aren't a lot of that. There isn't a lot of that out there. I mean, billionaires, yes. But $36 billion, that's a lot.
Yep.
But anyway, I just would like to see no work stoppage.
Big time.
Just figure out a way to, still work it. I don't know. But it is a concern of mine, and I don't care for that comment.
No, agreed, 100%. And we all have to keep our fingers crossed that they figure out a way to avoid a work stoppage next year. There's more that we haven't even gotten to Game 7 yet, so there's more in this to talk about in our batting cleanup segment, too. It's all coming. DLLS Rangers podcast. Time for you to become a diehard. Absolutely the moment right now. Scan that QR code if you haven't done it already. Otherwise, you're going to go to that alldlls.com page that we just talked about earlier, and you're not going to be able to see the wonderful content that is there because it's behind a paywall. That's how media works these days. And and I promise if you go out and spend the money on a newspaper every day, almost any newspaper, paying a heck of a lot more per day than you would pay.
There's no question about
per day for our content that covers, all of the teams that you're interested in, all four of the majors here in town. We've got a beat writer or two on every one of the beats, and they provide great content. You get a free shirt when you join. You get 20% off all of our events and so much more. So alldlls.com/join or scan that QR code that you see on the screen if you're watching along on YouTube, and you could become a diehard today.
You may have missed our sale that was running a couple weeks ago, but you still get a free shirt with the diehard membership. And John's wearing Texas Chew, the best of our shirts.
Yep.
I have on the gray Dallas horseshoe. It of course is under the pullover because it's chilly in here. But I wear these shirts all the time, and some of it is I want people at Henry's baseball tournaments to ask me what DLS is and all of that stuff. I wear the hat a lot. Also, same thing. Ask me what I do for a living. I'm glad to tell you and where we do it. But this, the diehard stuff, which is awesome. The merch at store.allcitynetwork.com. This is the first hat in partnership with Branded Bills, but we have some more coming, and I think the countdown's down to like 3 weeks, and I can't wait to buy more at store.allcitynetwork.com.
So let's get to this Game 7. Let's get to Game 6 and 7, actually. Yeah, let's do that. So Trey Yusevich last night. Are you freaking kidding me? 22-year-old kid making his 5th major league start, and at the beginning, everybody's saying, man, the Blue Jays bullpen is taxed and this, that, and the other, and this kid's got to get to the 6th inning for him. And I'm like, you guys are asking a lot out of a 22-year-old. And thanks in part to 3 back-to-back ground into double plays.
Wow.
2 of them with the bases loaded. He got into the 6th. I think he went 5 2/3. But unbelievable what this kid did.
Yeah, on Prize Picks yesterday, I think his number was 11.5 pitching outs. I was like, man, it's a game 6. Everything's on the line. How much patience are we going to have this young kid? So I stayed away from it. I stayed away from all of the baseball, actually. But pretty impressive little performance. Man. And I have him on my fantasy team, and I guess I'm going to have to protect him for next year.
No doubt.
Good night. But, Vlad Jr., fantastic. What a player. I remember when the Rangers opened there in 22, just watching him swing the bat. It's terrifying, and he hits everything hard. I mean, I guess he didn't last night. Did you see the one where he had the broken bat hit?
Yes.
It hit his bat 3 times.
It hit the bat 3 times. It basically hit it once, bat broke, hit it again, bat bent further, hit it again, and it stayed fair.
Right.
The base hit.
Right. He's strong. He's gotten himself in shape, and he's turned himself into a pretty good defensive first baseman. All good things. And Jake says, give me the Jays tonight.
I'm with him.
I tell you what, I don't know if I'm with him or not. This is pretty funny. Before I worked out today, I was talking to a gal who knows what I do, and she's a big Red Sox fan, and she was talking about how, man, she doesn't want the Blue Jays to be in the World Series. She's, a lot of jingoism and wants only American stuff. And we were talking, and then all of a sudden this lady comes in and she heard our conversation. She's like, "Oh, I'm so excited." She's from Toronto. I was like, she just missed us, like on a kind of an anti-Canada rant. So we're like, okay,
so excited,
let's go. So anyway, I'm struggling with this one. I really am.
Well, I
like who I want.
Yeah, and Abs was asking us earlier, and I was saying I really wanted a Brewers-Mariners matchup in the World Series. You'd have two teams, neither of which had ever won it. One team, the Mariners, who have never been. I thought that'd be really cool, and so Brewers are gone. Oh, well, Mariners are still alive. And yet, in both of the last two games, Jeff, I found myself rooting for the Blue Jays, just as I sit there watching. So I'm just trying to, just go with my heart. And I don't know what it is about this Blue Jays bunch that has just grabbed me. And the Yasevich story, like you say, the Vlad story, he's born in Canada, Montreal, when his dad was a player up there. And so, he's Canadian, and
right.
I find it all pretty cool. And I do think though, and we've talked about this off the air, I do think that the Mariners, with that pitching staff, have a better chance of beating the Dodgers.
I agree, but then you've kind of seen what the Blue Jays and the success they've had against.
True.
I mean, they worked Logan Gilbert hard last night.
They did.
Logan Gilbert is terrific.
He is.
And, he had 49 pitches for like 2 innings, so this team, they're just an offensive juggernaut, really. They do so many things well offensively. I'm kind of curious to see how it would play out, and against the Dodgers rotation, which is just on a complete hitter,
Right.
I'm not sure what's going to happen tonight. I really don't have any feel for this one. You think, oh well, the home team is going to win, but you have some home team stats?
Yeah, home team
right?
stat 30-29 are home teams in Game 7s all time, and
in a championship series,
in any Game 7,
Game 7.
I think it's any Game 7, but it's 7 of the last 8. And we know 2 of those very well. They were both road teams that won in 2023.
Yeah.
In Game 7 of both CSs, actually. The Diamondbacks beat the Phillies, and the Rangers beat the Astros, both on the road. So, there's 21 of them. There's 21 Game 7s in CS history. And,
okay.
Yeah. So 21 of them in CS history, and then the others came from World Series, I guess, because that's the only 7-game series that are out there.
Well, CSs were only 5 games for a long time.
That's right. I think it maybe goes to the early 80s that they. In fact, you know what? The Blue Jays have been in a Game 7 once before.
Against
85.
The Royals.
Yep.
Okay.
And the Royals beat them and went to the World Series
and won in 7 games.
Yeah. So they won in 7 there. So. Anyway, it's going to be really fun, no doubt about that. We mentioned the Giants. What is it, Tony Vitello, the Tennessee coach?
Yeah.
And then Posey appears to be ready to make the hire there. Talked a little bit about Lance Lynn's thoughts on that. He's concerned. But, because they said the biggest thing too, Jeff, is that at the college level, you're the manager, you're in charge of everything regarding the baseball team. But when you get to the pros, obviously, you've got a president of baseball operations, Buster Posey. The other Zach Manazian, the other Manazian is the GM there, right? And then a whole wealth of baseball operations people and stats and analytics and all that. And so in all that, you have to work with all of them in order to deliver the message that the team wants to the team.
Yeah, and that's his calling card, right? In Tennessee, he's been this guy who's been vocal and kind of revolutionized college baseball a little bit with how aggressive they are.
Right.
They weren't afraid to show emotions. They had the good teams and won the national title in 24 with Dylan Dreiling was the MVP. He was the Rangers' second-round pick in that year. He's playing in the fall league right now. But there's been some Tennessee pitchers who've done well in the pros and have credited him, Tony, a former TCU assistant coach, by the way, for getting these players ready. So maybe there's some player development on that end. But to your point, yeah, I mean, if he wants, I think the hard part for him would be college guy coming in and delivering a message to major league players that would be like, I mean, you're a college coach.
Yep.
Yep. You don't know our way. And so I think it would be hard for him at some point to deliver that. And then, if you come in guns a-blazing, whether it's your message or not, would you lose the team right away?
Yes. And where I thought Lance might go when he was talking about the distinction between Major League Baseball and college was simply that. And in general, college players, they're adults technically, but they're still kids. You know, I mean, some of them aren't adults. Some of them are 18 and 19, right?
Right.
And they're grown-up men physically, but they're kids here. And so a college coach can handle those kids differently.
Right.
Then you better be careful walking into a clubhouse where, he's 47, so he's not super young, but walking into a clubhouse where some of the players are damn near your age and acting, like you're talking to a bunch of 18-year-olds.
Yeah, and I don't, maybe you guys know, but I can't think of anybody who's done that.
I can't either.
Become a
no. I mean,
from
now
college managing to managing a big league club.
Tiger's pitching coach came from the University of Michigan.
Pitching coaches have done that.
Yeah. But even there was that disconnect at first of professional pitchers going, this guy from college. I mean, but he was a manager in college at the University of Michigan, a pretty big program, obviously, and then a pitching coach at the pro. But he's doing a great job and very well thought of.
Yeah,
and his messages are delivered.
But
not as a manager,
right? And even you see obviously college football coaches have had success. Jimmy Johnson, might be the poster boy, right, for success 100%. He had. But like Rick Pitino tried to.
No, I know.
And the guy at Arkansas from Kentucky and UMass. And I can see his face in my
it's Pitino and it's. Calipari.
Yeah, Calipari has tried it. The who's had the most success as a college coach. Like there are NBA coaches who have no idea who the hell they are. Never heard of them in my life.
Right.
And they've been like career NBA assistant coaches.
Sure.
You're not like, oh hey, let me go get Jamie.
Who's another one that's done it well is Billy Donovan from Florida, who then did well with the Thunder, and I think he's still with the Bulls.
Maybe I don't know who he's with.
Yeah, maybe the
Bulls.
Bulls.
Track of him.
Yeah, but you're right. It doesn't happen very often in any sport.
Yeah.
And it's almost never happened in baseball. Albert Pujols, somebody mentioned in the chat, looks like he will not be the new manager of the Angels. And boy, that's a surprise to me, Jeff.
Yeah, me too. And
I really thought that was almost a rubber stamp. Like I only thought he was talking to the Orioles, and now he's in on the Padres too, by the way. I only thought he was talking to the Orioles to kind of up the ante from Artie Moreno, you know?
Well, maybe that was it. Maybe Artie said the hell with it. Maybe Artie was like, I'm not going to pay you.
Yeah.
I'm already making you.
I think I'm already paying you.
You're already under contract.
Yeah. And I overpaid you for the last 5 years of your contract, although that wasn't on Albert. But, yeah. So
I guess so if he becomes the manager of another team, I guess he can't be a Angels employee anymore. I guess he'd have to forfeit that contract.
Forfeit that $100,000. Wouldn't that be nice if he could keep that one? But he won't be able to consult or whatever, be a senior advisor, whatever
it's
he is.
It's like a personal services thing.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
Yeah. I think it's $1 million.
Oh, wow.
I think it's pretty big money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I thought it was $100,000. I didn't know it was $1 million. Jeez,
I might be making that up.
Wow.
I thought it was a big money.
Wow. Either way. He won't be doing both if he gets the Padres or the Orioles job. And the Padres, again, I could see A.J. Preller and that group being very interested in an Albert Pujols. So, man, it's going to be really an interesting week, I think, if not this week, next, because, again, none of these jobs have been filled
It's got to happen this week. Something's got to come out.
Just think it's
I'm
got
going
to
to start
shake.
making some more calls. I'm tired of this. Let's get some news.
Let's get something. Let's shake a few trees, shall we?
Let's shake a tree.
All right, we're going to go shaking trees. Man, we appreciate you hanging out with us today. We appreciate you not only noticing, but commenting on the Prophet being back with us for a day. It's great. We love to have him, too. We love to have you. We are here tomorrow and really every day this week at 1 o'clock. And we'll have every update you might want as far as the Rangers and Major League Baseball go. We'll see you next time on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.